Hey everybody, hope everyone's doing well. This is Linda, and I just wanted to come on for just a little bit and show you a vintage repair. And I'll go ahead and insert a picture of the item before I decided to fix it so that it can be displayed again. And so what I'm doing now is I'm working with the head of the figure, and it's pretty damaged, so I'm going to go ahead and just sponge on some acrylic paint. And when you've got the this kind of surface, it's not a spun cotton, it's like foam, and it's got like a layer of felt, a very thin felt over the entire surface, but some of the parts came off, and so it's hard to appreciate the figure in that manner. So I've decided to just go ahead and stipple some paint on. And I originally started with the Himi gouache, but it wasn't thick enough. So I moved on to some acrylic. And I placed the brush in there just to help me kind of keep it from getting the paint all over the area. And I'm just going to go ahead and just stipple. And I just started to stipple. And I'm probably going to have to go over most of the area, even though I originally didn't want to. But that's the only way that this is going to work. And I just want to get it to a point where it can be displayed again. So I took some white, some light pink, and some orange paint, acrylic paint, and I'm just going to go ahead and just do a real quick paint over this surface. And using more of a stippling technique. And the thing about the stippling is that it also create that texture because of your acrylic, right? It's going to have that thickness to the paint, and hopefully, those ridges that have been torn off won't be so easy to spot. You're going to kind of camouflage that a little bit. Then just kind of combine it with the rest of the figure. And then here I might go a little bit thicker first. Just trying to get that paint in there. And then I'm going to add some of the orange to that. Make sure I'm on camera here. Okay. Okay, that's better. And it probably needs to be a little bit darker. Okay, I'm going to smooth it out a little bit, maybe brush it on, just to kind of combine the different colors together. Now that I've got a little bit thicker, it's a little bit darker there, so I'm going to just add some of this to kind of imitate that area, imitate the color in that area. Make it blend a little bit better. Okay, and I don't want to overdo it. Now I want to take just some water to kind of help that blend a little bit better, and I'm just using a round brush. And I'm going to just take the water, and that will help kind of blend everything together. And so this is just my way of, trying to bring this cute little figure back to back to a state where you can display it. And it's just such a cute little figure. I didn't want to get rid of it. And at the bottom, I'm just going to again go ahead and go with the water. Kind of some watered out paint. Okay. Maybe at the top a little bit. There we go. That's kind of what I wanted. And just double check it all the way around. Okay. so I think for now I'm going to go ahead and just hold off. I might add just a little bit more of a touch up here and there. But essentially that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just add some acrylic paint. And right now everything's really obvious. But once that paint dries, it should be in a better state. And so I'll go ahead and add some other details to the video, and then we'll see the final product. All right, so I'll go ahead and just add some more of this paint. Now this is acrylic paint, but it's a thicker paint. I think it's for multiple surfaces, and it's labeled as enamel, but it's acrylic. So any acrylic paint should work okay to fill in those little gaps there. Okay. So I'm just going to let that dry a little bit before I add the final color with the paint. And it's kind of a humid, it's kind of a humid day today, so it's going to take a while for that acrylic paint to dry, even though it is acrylic. And while I wait for that to dry, I'll go ahead and do a little bit of cleanup. And I like to have these wipes handy so that, you know, it's an easy cleanup. And I don't like to get my stuff stained, so just going to push it to the edge there. There they go. That's the effect that I want. Get rid of that really obvious ridge. Okay, all right. So now it's time to let it dry and do a little bit of cleanup, and we'll be back. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and continue with the this little figure that I've been repairing, and I want to finish it up so I can store it. And so I've painted all the surface and added the bonnet at the top, the ears, not the bonnet, but the ears, the little flower. All this was one component. For the other eye that was missing, I simply cut out a piece of construction paper and added that, or scrapbook paper, and I just used a hole punch for that I was about that same size, so that worked out really well. And so now, you know, I'm figuring out that the color's a little bit too dark, but now that other paint has dried, and so it's going to be easier to, you know, apply this other layer without it showing all the areas of damage. And so I'm using the bottom of the head because that's the original color. And I'm using that to add. So I just added some acrylic paint. And then before adding the layers of paint, I just spritzed it with a little bit of water. I've got my mini mister. And so I just spritzed it with a little bit of water over the entire face so that that paint would blend fairly easy. And so I'm just going to finish up painting that in. Okay, so I'm going to just demonstrate quickly. And once you add that paint, or before you add that paint and you kind of spritz it with a little bit of water, it'll help that paint go on a little bit easier. It's a little bit easier to blend. You don't want to do too much, so you want to get a really fine mist on there. That's just a little tip. Sorry about the movement. Okay, all right, so now I'm going to just finish that up and we'll show her with some of our friends. All right, so she's all done. I've added some more paint and she is good to go. And on camera, some of the imperfections are reading a little bit more, but now she can be displayed with her other little buddies that I found in the same lot. So really happy with the results of this project. And then I had another item. I had this music box and the point was broken off of one of the carrots. And so what I just did is I just used some spun cotton and glue and just shaped it and formed it, let it dry up, and then added a clear coat of nail polish. It's soaking it in, so I think I'm going to maybe add some glossy accents, something that'll give that shine of the ceramic piece so that it does mimic that a little bit more. Probably need to do a little bit more painting. For the color, I just simply added, I believe for that was just some acrylic paint. And it's ready to be displayed again. So thank you so much for joining me on this project. And you find something that might need a little bit of help, I think it's well worth the time and energy to put that to work and make it once again ready to display with some of your other favorite pieces. All right. Thank you for joining me today. We'll see you soon.